Hello students, today we shall discuss the module 2 content, that is one-dimensional analysis of bar element and truss element. Okay, so our major area of discussion will be, so in module 2, so that is one-dimensional analysis of bar and truss elements. Okay, truss structures. So we consider these two structure and we shall discuss its analysis, one-dimensional analysis. Before that, we should understand what is a bar element and what is a truss element. So first we shall concentrate the bar element. Okay. So as we know, bar sometimes is also termed by the name rod. Okay, so here the important thing you should keep in your mind, only the axial force will be, the bar will be subjected to axial force only. Okay, so that is the main characteristics of a bar element. So now we shall understand how to derive the stiffness matrix for bar element. Before that, you should understand what is a stiffness matrix. Okay, the stiffness matrix originates from the structural analysis. Here we use this particular term stiffness matrix in order to describe the relationship between force and displacement, as well as we use this particular term in order to describe the relationship between temperature and heat flux. So we can make use of this stiffness matrix in order to describe. So I will just describe the relationship between the first category, force and displacement, and the second category, the temperature and heat flux. Okay, stiffness matrix generally two types. We can represent stiffness matrix in two types. So the first one we call it as element stiffness matrix. Element stiffness matrix. Second one, like this element stiffness matrix will be representing the individual element. Okay, individual element in a structure, system or a continuum, we call it as a elemental stiffness matrix. And also we can represent in terms of global stiffness matrix. So the representation of stiffness matrix can be done in terms of elemental stiffness matrix or in the form of global stiffness matrix. So what is this global stiffness matrix? It is nothing but the which will be representing. So this will be representing the element. Okay, element, that is to be precise, I can tell this as individual element in a structure. And global stiffness matrix will be representing entire structure. So we call this as a global stiffness matrix. and we have certain steps where you can identify the stiffness matrix. We can derive the equation for stiffness matrix. So total three methods to determine 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 stiffness matrix. So what are those? We can follow direct method one, or you can follow the variational approach, and third one is weighted residual method. So we shall go in detail with this variational approach. In direct method, in the element properties are obtained by direct interpretation of physical structure. We use the concepts of mechanics of material, and we shall directly interpret with the help of a formula. Whereas in variational approach, in this method we obtain by applying the principle of minimum potential energy, and in weighted residual method the governing equation will be obtained either with the help of Galectin approach or least square method. So we shall understand how to derive the stiffness matrix using the variational approach. Okay, so variational approach is nothing but we make use of principle of minimum potential energy. So let me consider that. So I will be considering the second content to derive the stiffness matrix of bar element. Okay, so I will just write down this variational, the second one, so where I will make use of using principle of minimum potential energy. Okay, so here let me consider a simple example of a bar which will be fixed at one end. A bar fixed at one end, okay, and the length will be represented by alphabet L. Okay, so L will be the length, and so it will be applied to a force F in the direction of X. As I said, bar will be subjected to only axial force. Okay, this is done. So if I want to represent, so this is the normal one, FE model. Okay, finite element model. So the representation will be, I will be using 1D linear element. So I will be representing fixed end as one node and the free end as one more node. Okay, node 1 and node 2. The displacement whatever happen at node 1 will be identified as U1 displacement, and displacement happening at node 2 will be identified as U2. Okay, remember we represent U as a displacement in the direction of X, followed with we have also V and W in Y and Z direction. So now we are having displacement in X direction, so we represent it as U1 and U2, and so here F1 and this particular force as F2. Okay, so here it is a prismatic bar of length L with Young's modulus E and cross sectional area A. So let us consider a prismatic bar of length L, okay, lowercase l, and with Young's modulus, given by E, and cross sectional area represented by A. So we can see that it is fixed at one end and it is subjected to an axial force of F on other end. So I'll continue with the same. So the bar is fixed at one end and subjected to force F on the other end. So this is very much clear. Now we also made a consideration that U1 representing nodal displacement at node 1, and whereas U2 representing the same nodal displacement at node 2. Okay, and we also considered F1 and F2 are the nodal forces. Okay, F1 and F2 are the nodal forces. Then the potential energy is given by, let me represent the potential energy functional is given by, we know that potential energy is equal to strain energy plus work potential, and the strain energy of a bar will be represented by, we know that strain energy of a bar, that is given by AE by 2 integration 0 to L day bar U by day bar X whole square into dx. Okay, so this is the formula in order to find the potential strain energy, whereas work potential is given by minus F1 U1 minus F2 U2. So we shall substitute this particular strain energy and work potential in the given potential energy functional, so that it will be representing as potential energy that is equal to strain energy is given by AE by 2 integration 0 to L day bar U by day bar X whole square dx minus of F1 U1 plus F2 U2, so within bracket. Okay, so this will be representing the potential energy functional. So we already know this approach. So the first step is clearly we have written. The second step is to assume the potential energy. Okay, we should assume the displacement function. Second step, we assume displacement function. Okay, for this problem, so we can consider, we already discussed the interpolation model in detail in module 1. So for this particular sketch, we shall consider the one-dimensional equation that is containing only the constant and linear terms. Okay, let me represent that u of x, that is equal to a0 plus a1x. You can consider a0 as a constant and a1x as a linear term. Okay, now we have two conditions. The figure, let me write on here so that it will be easy. We have a bar fixed at one end and subjected to force F. Okay, so this x is fixed, so there the x distance will be 0 as well as u will be 0. U we consider it as u1 displacement, and as x is equal to L, we consider u as a displacement as u2. Okay, so let us consider at node 1, so let me take it down a bit. Yeah, we know that at node 1 x will be 0 and u will consider as a u1 displacement. So when I substitute the same, u, I can write this as u1 a0 plus a1 into 0. So this I will get as a0 as u1. Okay, and at node 2 x will be L, u we consider as u2. Then the following equation, let us consider the same equation, u is equal to a0 plus a1x. So this displacement equation, so u will be u2, a0 we already found this as u1 plus a1, x will be L. Then I obtain a1 as u2 minus u1 by L. So I found what is a0 and what is a1. So let us substitute these two values in the displacement function, that is a. When I substitute here, I obtain, so let me write down here, u is equal to a0 as u1 plus a1 as u2 minus u1 by L, okay, multiplied by a1. Okay, so this will be the final term multiplied by x. U is equal to u1 plus u2 minus u1 by L into x. And if you see, this is not only the final thing, we need to substitute the displacement function as day by u by day by x. That is over here, you can see that. Let me mark. So here we have to substitute day by u by day by x. So let me differentiate. So if I differentiate this particular u is equal to u1 plus u2 minus u1 by L into x, I obtain this as, so I am differentiating this. So day by u by day by x, that is equal to u1 will be 0, remaining is u2 minus u1 by L. Okay, so this will be the differentiation. And so let us substitute this particular equation in the potential energy functional. Then I obtain it as, so where potential energy functional, that is equal to a e by 2 0 to L. So actually it was day by u by day by x whole square. So let me represent minus u2 minus u1 by L whole square. So this will be the substitution into dx minus f1 u1 minus f2 u2, and we shall integrate the same. u2 u1 L is a constant, I will take this outside. A by 2 u2 minus u1 by L whole square, and this will be L. I can get it as x, and if I substitute the limit, I will obtain this as an L. So this is not uppercase, okay, L minus f1 u1 minus f2 u2, and let me expand this. I obtain this as, so L square, L get cancelled, remaining is AE by 2L. I will take it in such way, and remaining is u2 square plus u1 square minus 2 u2 u1 minus f1 u1 minus f2 u2. So this will be the final term. So yeah, so now the next step is we need to minimize this particular equation. So that is minimize the potential energy functional. So this is the potential energy functional. So we know that the above potential differentiation of partial differentiation of potential energy with respect to u, okay, with respect to the displacement. So the displacement here we have two displacement, one is u1 and what is u2, that is ui. So and equate to 0, we shall follow the differentiation with respect to u1 and we shall equate to 0, and follow with the same u2 and we shall equate to 0. So when I do that with respect to u1, so I obtain with respect to u1 ae by 2l as it is. u2 square will be 0, whereas u1 square will be 2u1 minus 2u2, and I am doing with respect to u1, I obtain this as f1. And what I have to do, I need to equate to 0, this LHS part will be 0, the final equation will be in the form of, so let me write down the same, that is AE, see the 2 I can take it common so that it will get cancelled, remaining is AE by L in bracket u1 minus u2, that is equal to f1. Okay, this equation I obtain when I differentiate with respect to u1, the potential energy functional with respect to u1, and the same I will be doing with respect to u2. Yeah, so this function with respect to u2, so let me highlight the same, this function with respect to u2, if I do that, so then I will obtain as, so let me write down here itself, if I do that, deba pi by with respect to u2, so AE by 2l as it is within bracket 2u2 minus 2u1 minus f2. So this will be the function. Let me copy this. So when I do when I differentiate potential energy functional with respect to u2 and I should equate to 0, then I obtain this as AE by L u2 minus u1 is equal to f2. And if I consider 1 and 2, and this can be represented in the form of a matrix, see equation 1 and 2 can be represented in the form of matrix, that is, so you can see that AE by, so let me highlight shade that, so I will be considering these two equations. I will represent over here. So we shall consider u1 and AE by L as a common. I will take it outside, AE by L as a common. I have u1 and u2, so the coefficient is 1 and minus 1, and u2 is 1, so u2 position over here, u1 is minus 1 multiplied by u1 u2, that is equal to f1 f2. Okay, so the standard forms of this particular matrix is, that is K into K representing stiffness matrix multiplied by U, that is equal to F. Okay, F is equal to K into U. So this is representing stiffness matrix, this U representing the displacement, F representing the load vector. Okay, so you can write K is the stiffness matrix for the bar element. K is the stiffness matrix for the bar element, and U is the displacement vector, and followed with that is F is the load vector. So this is how we derive the element stiffness matrix. Okay, so this is not a global stiffness matrix, so this is an element stiffness matrix. Very simple steps that I have followed to identify the stiffness matrix of a bar element. So let me so for we are able to derive the elemental stiffness matrix for a bar that is represented by K, and we shall understand what is a global stiffness matrix. So let me continue with the same. So I will consider this as global stiffness matrix. When we have seen the previous problem, the given problem had only if I consider this as a entire structure, okay, like a bar fixed at one end, we consider it as a one structure, but we represented this particular bar in one element. You can see that there is only two nodes, one and the second node here. Now what is a global stiffness matrix? So global stiffness matrix, as per the definition, it is a representation of stiffness of entire structure. So now what I will be doing, I will define a structure in such a way that minimum two element has to be formed in that. So then only we can able to derive the global stiffness matrix. Okay, so let us consider a stepped bar. Okay, I will just consider a stepped bar. Okay, so it will be fixed at one end, and this particular we shall consider it as L1, and this as L2. Okay, and A1 representing the cross-sectional area of this particular bar, and E1 similarly A2, E2. Okay, so here we have considered and it will be subjected to force F. Okay, so consider a step bar fixed at one end, subjected to load F on the other end. Here we shall model this particular 1D bar element. Now if I want to draw the FE model for this, okay, so this is very simple. I will be representing over here. So let us draw this particular structure. So consider this as element number 1 and this as element number 2. So here it is fixed, it will be considered as node number 1, and we have a discontinuity in geometry. Remember the node numbering. So when you have a discontinuity in the geometry, you should represent the node, that is second node, and the load is applied, this is a free end, that is the third node. So total we have 1 and 2, total 2 elements are here. Now we shall understand how to derive the elements. So first step is to identify the element stiffness matrix. So for element 1, okay, the stiffness matrix is given by so we shall consider that as a K1. So stiffness matrix as K1, and for this K2. So K1, that is equal to, formula of representation is very simple. The formula is, already we know that, that is AE by L, okay, multiplied by 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. So this is the stiffness matrix. For the element 1, we shall consider, for element 1 it is A1 E1 by L1 multiplied by 1 minus 1 minus 1 1, okay. And for element 2, so for element 2, stiffness matrix will be represented by K2, that is equal to A2 E2 by L2 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. Now see, these two representing elemental stiffness matrix for individual element. Now what we need to do for the entire structure, how to represent? So we need to assemble these two in a proper way. So let me represent global stiffness matrix of a given structure or a given continuum, that is given by K is equal to K1 plus K2, okay. So for that we shall take down the node. How? We shall consider first position, second and third in the similar order, 1 2 3. And if I represent the same over here, I will write down. So this is 1 2 1 2, this is 2 3 2 3. So this is the second element is made up of. If I consider second element, the node 2 and 3 is responsible, and the first element is made up of 1 and 2. Okay, let me write 1 1 position. What we have? So 1 1 position we have. Let me multiply this one inside, that is AE by E1. So I will take this one E1 E1 by L1, and we have in 2 1 position, okay. So that is minus, just give me a minute. Let me continue. So we are writing the global stiffness matrix. So first we have filled 1 1 position, so that let me shade that. So this is the 1 1 position, 1 1, that will be A1 E1 by L1. Next 2 1 position, that is minus A1 E1 by L1. Let me write that, minus A1 E1 by L1, and we don't have this 3 1 position, so we shall fill that as 0, and followed with we have 1 2 position, okay. You can see that 1 2 position, that is given by minus A1 E1 by L1, and 2 2 position. So 2 2 position is plus A1 E1 by L1, and so this will complete the entire matrix. And again we have 2 2 position in the second element also, so that is this term. This is 2 2 position, that will be represented by, here in the same place you need to add plus A2 E2 by L2, and here the followed with the next is negative, minus A2 E2 by L2, and here the first element will be 0 and followed with minus E2 E2 by L2, here E2 E2 by L2. So this will be the global stiffness matrix. So you need to consider the node numbering scheme, and followed with you need to add that. Okay, so in brief, if I consider here, what I have done is A, B, C, D, and followed with I had for element 2 E, F, G, H. What happens? So this term and this term will get added up, and remaining term we shall write as it is. Okay, that position, the same has been followed here. So this is how you write the global stiffness matrix. So let me wind up my session here.